Hello! I'm doing a thing again. It's called veju. Oh, that's stupid. For will be the 4th year running. I have made a video or a series of videos or a collection of videos called all under the kind of label of a gender tag. If you do not know, hello, my name is Kerr. I am non-binary. This is my YouTube channel, and I have had a very varied experience with gender and my sense of gender and my self-expression of gender, and I want to keep this series, or this kind of installments of this series, going every year to kind of, I guess, record or mark my journey as it comes. So this is the 4th year that I'll be doing the gender tag. I will list the original gender tag video below, as well as the questions, if you want to do it or you want to check out where it all started. I'll also link somewhere to my gender and sexuality playlist, and I'll link everything. It's on the screen. It's in the corner. I don't know what. I think it's that corner. Anyway, I'm just gonna get into it because I'm rambling. How do you self-identify your gender, and what does that definition mean to you? Personally, I've had a lot of labels, and I've admitted that, and I've listed them before in my previous videos. I personally usually just stick with non-binary. For me, it just means kind of a complete dissociation from a self-identified gender. I'm very feminine. I'm very high feminine. I'm so intrinsically unlinked to my own sense of internal gender that to me sometimes they don't even like click. They're not even a part of the same thing. But at the same time, sometimes it is. Sometimes it's a matter of trying to work through that grey area where sometimes gender is the thing that I'm putting on, and sometimes gender is the thing that I'm absolutely disregarding. Sometimes it's to do with internal feelings, and sometimes it's to do with safety. So it's a very complicated way of saying I don't fucking know, but I do it day to day. My gender doesn't change, but every day is different in a way. What pronouns honor you? I've said this all of the videos, I think. My pronouns are they, them. Do not use she, her for me, please. I hate she, her, and it's just... It's so... Like, I know that pronouns aren't inherently gendered, but in society they are inherently gendered. So whenever someone, well-meaning, I'm sure, or ignorant in the sense that they're not... They're just uneducated about me personally, it hurts. It feels like... It's like, you know that one feeling like nails on a chalkboard, or the feel of cotton wool? That's how it feels. At least I'm very lucky that I don't have an extreme like dysphoria or kind of reaction to being misgendered. It just feels immensely uncomfortable, but I'm not going to, like, it's not going to ruin my day. Describe the style of clothing that you most often wear. I said this a minute ago. I'm very high femme. I'm very much into dresses, very much into skirts, into a lot of makeup, a lot of traditionally feminine things, but also like subverting that kind of idea. Like, if I can queer up my outfits as much as possible, then I will. If I can add my queer rights badges, or my political badges, or the separate church and state badges, then I will add it to my looks, because I'm not very good at talking to people, but I still want to signal out to the other queer people around me that, hello, I'm here, I'm maybe more visible than you are at this moment, but I'm very much here and I want you to see me. Even if those people don't end up interacting with me, I want them to see me, especially if it's someone who's questioning and is unsure and scared. If my fucking very visibly gay ass walks down the street, I want them to feel comforted by that. Talk about your choices with body hair. How do you style your hair? Do you have facial hair? What do you choose to shave or choose not to shave? I've talked about hair a lot, especially in my why I shaved my head video. Hair has always intrinsically been linked to identity for me, not specifically gender, but encompassing a lot of things about how I felt about myself, my internal kind of self-esteem and my mental health and all of that, and just physical body confidence and stuff. So obviously I take a lot of risks. I like being unconventional with my hair because when it makes me happy, but it also pisses other people off, which makes me happy. But overall it is an internal sense of like contentness to do weird things with my hair. So I'm obviously shaved. I shaved my hair in February, so I'm going on 6 months nearly, which I'm very happy about. But it's hair is complicated for me, and I think that I'll never be able to qualify it in one question of a tag video. As for body hair, I do not shave my legs. I shave my underarms, but only in the sense that it helps, especially in this weather when it's really warm out, it's just easier to feel cleaner that way. And I like having hairy legs. It makes me very happy because one, I don't have to spend hours shaving my legs, and also it pisses other people off. And like the qualifying reason for pissing people off, no, I don't qualify all of my decisions on pissing other people off. They're just nice side effects. Talk about cosmetics. Do you wear makeup? Do you paint your nails? What types of soaps and perfumes do you use, if any? Obviously I wear makeup. I really love makeup. I think it's such a wonderful expression and art form, etc. But it makes me feel not always better about myself, but I can control in those moments when I don't feel in control of a lot of things. I can control how I get other people to perceive me. So it's similar to clothes in that I am taking control of other people's perceptions of me, which is another thing that I need, that is intrinsically linked to gender and being very visibly queer and dressing very visibly queer. I want to be in control of what I'm putting out there. So if I'm wearing my political badges, if I'm wearing a lot of makeup, if I'm walking around wearing my fucking flag, then like I'm in control of that. I am the person who is mostly in control, because I can't control everyone's reaction to things, obviously, because people are complicated and I am one person. But if I can control the range of opinions of me, I'm okay with that. If I'm just walking around like not actually thinking about it, it makes me a little bit anxious, because like I'm fat and I'm bald, and I think I am so visibly queer even when I'm not trying, that if I'm not controlling that to a T, I might be putting myself in danger. And that's something that is always in my brain, that if I go out like this, is someone going to beat me up or sexually assault me, or like it seems like a lot, but it is one of the immediate thoughts I have when I'm dressing or doing makeup and stuff. Do I paint my nails? Nope. I am a chronic nail biter and it's really, really bad and I need to stop. Types of soaps and perfumes. I love Lush. Don't use it as much as I wish I did because I'm broke. I have an extensive skincare routine that I don't always do, but it makes me feel better when I need to take care of myself in a private setting. Have you experienced being misgendered? If so, how often? Every damn day. Like I said, people aren't hugely educated on non-binary issues, and I get it. You don't know about the things that you don't know about, and you don't have to learn about the things that you don't know about sometimes. And sometimes I may be hesitant to come out to people because I'm not really sure on my own safety, or how they'll perceive me, or what opportunities it's going to make me miss. So oftentimes not coming out is as strategic as coming out. So a lot of the time I do get misgendered because I don't know the level of safety that I have with people sometimes. Safety is a theme for this video. Can you tell that I'm thinking about it a lot? Do you experience dysphoria? How does that affect you? There's been this really interesting conversation, like obviously trans med people feel that you need to have dysphoria to qualify as trans. I don't believe in that, but for a lot of non-binary people who, especially those who change their name or change their pronouns, that does inherently show a level of dysphoria, more mental than physical, but it is there. And then obviously people who don't change their name or their appearance, at the very least, can still experience it because of misgendering. So dissociating yourself from your birth gender, I think in a weird way, is inherently, or the gender assigned to you at birth, I think is in some small way is inherently dysphoric, because you are uncomfortable or troubled or physically what's the word? Physically reactive to some sort of stimulus in your environment that triggers that experience of understanding your own gender more, or understanding that you're not cis. As for physical body dysphoria, I think what I experience isn't linked to gender. I have some body image issues that I don't think is inherently gender related, but I'll throw that out there in case in like 5 installments time I'm like, that was inherently gendered, bitch. Talk about children. Are you interested in having children? Would you want to carry a child if it were an option for you? Do you want to be a primary caretaker of any children you may have? I've said this before, I don't really want kids. I'm a very caring and protective person, and a lot of people, when I say that I don't want kids, are like, but if anything, you would be an amazing parent because I'm like compassionate and kind and open and understanding and a good listener and blah, blah, blah. I don't think those things inherently make good parents. I think that they help. I think that the best parents have those things or try to aspire towards those things, but I don't think that those are the things that you need to, those shouldn't be the only things you have to be a parent. I know that emotionally I may never be prepared for kids, which is something that I am basically kind of at peace with. But I've also kind of dabbled in the idea that if later in life and I'm stable and I'm married or with someone long term, if I wanted to foster kids, because I think there's something, I don't want to say noble, because that's really like glorifying myself in a way. I want to help the kids. If I were to have kids, I would want to take kids out of the system that is not good for them. Adoption is another option, but I feel like fostering, a lot of people want to adopt kids, but people won't foster older kids. So it's something that I'm thinking about a lot of the time when I think about this kind of topic, is how do I make the world better if I want to do this? Because getting a surrogate or being a surrogate for myself and my partner adds more people to the world, and like there's already so many people who are here that aren't being treated correctly or are in systems of neglect and abuse. So why should I add more people to this world when I can actively remove people from systems that are negligent to them? And I've also said before that while I think that I also would volunteer to be a surrogate if like any of my friends, most of my friends are gay men or not straight men. So if they were to ask me to be a surrogate, I would actually really, really consider it. I've said that before, I think. Just in general, it's complicated. Talk about money. Is it important for you to provide for a family financially if you choose to have one? Is it important for you to earn more than any partner you may have? Do you prefer to pay for things like dates? Are you uncomfortable when others pay for you or offer to pay for you? This question has always rubbed me up the wrong way, and I don't think it's intentional, but it is kind of playing into a stereotype of like male and female roles of times gone by, because it's obviously changing, but it just makes me feel a bit weird. I would love to be able to provide for a family financially if I had one, or just provide for myself and my partner. But that's not because like I want to be the breadwinner. I want to be like, I'm earning for my family, because I find that attitude very alarming in some ways, because to me it speaks of some sort of power imbalance, and it doesn't sit well with me. So I want to be able to provide for my family, but not as the sole person. Like, I want to be able to provide, and if my partner for some reason or other cannot provide, I want to be able to provide for both of us, but it's not in the sense that I want my partner to leave their job because I want to be the benefactor of the house, you know? I just don't, that feels really manipulative and conniving and insidious. It's just really weird to me that you would want that kind of power over your significant other. Anything else you want to share about your experience of gender? It's complicated. I think I talked before about kind of the journey and the experiences and whatever, but I think concisely it's complicated, and you don't need to be sure, because Lord knows there have been many times that I have not been sure. It's complicated, and you have moments like that, and that doesn't mean that, for me, it doesn't mean that my gender has changed. It just means that I'm have low self-esteem. So I think that worrying too much about being able to qualify it in words that as humans we have can often make people even more uncomfortable, because when you try on and try on and try on things and they continue to not fit, it can be disheartening. Gender is complicated, and many of us don't have good relationships with our internal sense of gender, and I'm very lucky that I don't have a massive aversion or issue or internalized thing with myself. I said this was going to be concise, and it's not concise whatsoever, but I think that at the end of the day, gender objectively is really beautiful because of how complex it is, but experiences those complexities can be brutal, and we need to be good to ourselves in experiencing them, because the minute you let these ideas of who you are supposed to be control you is the day that the dysphoria and the transphobia and the cissexism and the cisnormativity wins, and ultimately that's not something that any of us want. Does that make sense? Does it? I don't know. Anyway, I really enjoy this like mini series because it helps kind of keep everything going. Like I have a lot of existentialism and internal dialogue and like introspection in my own life, but it's nice to sit down and think about these things in terms of a very specific way, and to see how it's progressed over the years. So it's nice. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. I hope to see you tomorrow, and I hope you have a fantastic day, and goodbye.